The only additional fee would be to go into Hammertown proper, and that's just to pay the $20 for the COVID test.
So it's not just teams. So if you're a spectator and you're a huge fan and you want to go in to Hammertown, you can pay the $20 for the test, get your band, and get in, or is it limited to just?
No, it's open to anyone that's willing to abide by the protocol that we have to be able to have the event.
Yep. Okay. Understandable.
And if it's not your thing, if it's not your choice, we'll still have racing for you. There'll still be jumbotrons in other areas. There's still plenty of things to do. It's your choice. Now we've given that decision back to the people that choose to come out and enjoy the desert with us.
Okay.
So the other point worthy of mentioning is we can mail a test to a spectator as well.
Okay.
If you go online, buy a ticket, and order the test, we can mail it to you. It's the same price. Or no, it's $30 to have it shipped to you because we've got to cover some of the shipping.
Yep.
Or you can test on your own with a third party and show up with your results, and we'll let you into Hammertown as well.
It's crazy how much the world has had to bend to make things happen. I mean, you were down at the Ball 1000, Ryan, and you were there too. Anything but normal, no contingency, none of that. Everything was all open. So that puts us into, is there anything more you want to cover on COVID other than what we're going to talk about when it comes to the driver's meeting and things like that are different than the norm?
No, we're going to talk about virtual drivers meetings and that stuff later.
Yep.
But I would like to have a cut in this and get onto the event side of it.
Yep.
We will take questions right now, though. If you got questions right now and you're watching and you want to understand what's going on, I'd like to cover the COVID stuff now, clear the table, hit the reset button, and start talking about the cool stuff.
Sounds good. What do we got, Ryan?
Well, yeah, so I'm going to repeat that just in case.
Are they hearing me now?
I don't think so.
Can we please solve that for that? No, but
Let's go ahead and put that out there with my volume. We've got the first question. Will positive tests be reported to the government? Looks like we're going to do a mic swap out here.
All right, Ryan, take it away.
Yeah, will positive tests be reported to the government? That is a big NO. If you've got a positive test, we're just going to tell you can't come into Hammertown, but you're free to do as you need to do.
Is that better?
What other questions do we have?
What was the question?
Will positive tests be reported to the government? My answer to that was no.
I would. So, if you come to the lake bed and test positive on the lake bed, then yes, we need to handle that appropriately. That doesn't mean you get reported. You have the test in your hand. If you test positive and you choose to continue to not seek help, then your only choice is to kind of have to go. I mean, you can't stay there.
We're not reporting anybody to the government.
I'm not reporting anybody.
Yeah.
But we're also.
And there's no HIPAA stuff here. I'm not going to ever see your test results. I'm not seeing any of your information. You're getting a set. You're doing a self-test if you choose to. If you choose not to, then you don't have to because you can still watch the race anyway.
We got good volume with Dave now. Next question. What time frames for the test if you bring them on your own?
7 days before arriving at the lake bed.
And question 3. Do you have to carry the test around, or will there be a special wristband to show your negative status?
There's a special wristband. It says, I am super cool and I'm here at King of the Hammers.
Is it a black Sharpie X on your forehead?
Yeah. No. You are really not helping.
Yes, I am. We gotta have some fun with this. Just a little.
Okay.
So we got a solid report on volume.
Do we have any more questions that you're not willing to ask?
No,
me?
I got 4 questions and we've asked them all.
Okay.
All right.
Let's
turn the page.
Does anybody like to talk about racing?
I would
what I'm here
love
for.
to talk about racing.
Okay.
Wait, I do have one more question here. What about people who have had COVID? What kind of paperwork do they need?
Perfect. If you have had COVID, I just need something official. Ricky, you've had COVID. You
Yep.
had it in March. So
Yep.
when you as staff come into the lake bed,
Yes.
I need a doctor's note. And not like signed Epstein's mother, like a legitimate
Yes.
from your doctor. Ideally, it's just right on their prescription pad because.
Well, when I got tested positive, they sent me my results. Then they sent me a document that said that I tested positive, and then immediately after that I got followed up would I be willing to go for, donate antibodies and things like that? So I have all of that documentation that shows that I had it and all the different stuff.
I just need 14 days of symptom-free after testing positive.
Yep.
Once you're at that point, that is within the scope or the all clear from county health as far as how we're handling this and what our protocol is.
Yes.
So once you're 14 days symptom-free, then you are considered surviving or through cured or passed or whatever the words are for it. I don't know the right words. And we're good to go.
There we go. All right.
Kids' age limit to be tested
18
is
years old.
18.
18 years old and younger. Excuse me. Under 18 is not tested.
All right.
And I'm seeing no more questions.
I guess what I'm going to put this back out to everybody else. If you guys, anybody that's been to King of the Hammers, and if you're watching this show right now, you either really, really, really like King of the Hammers, or you've been a whole bunch of times, and this is kind of our tradition. I need you guys to help. Same way we need your help with trash and everything else. This is 100% going to be. We're going to be as successful as our fans, patrons, racers, partners. Everybody helps us get there. There's no way that the 40 people that are putting on King of the Hammers are going to be able to change the tenor, the behavior, the approach of everyone coming. But if you guys come with the right same frame of mind because you want to be there and understand what we're all going through to get there and just to get a good race to happen, then we're going to be a success and this is going to be a good thing. If it turns into, that was my biggest nightmare when it was all testing, all COVID testing for everybody. I know there's people that don't want to get tested. I don't want to get tested. But it was the box we have to check to be able to go do this.
Right.
And I was not looking forward to that contention at the gate and the sour taste and everything else. And so we worked really hard to come up with a nonsensical approach. I'm really happy where we're at. I'm very thankful for the parties that we're working with to make this happen. So if we're done with the COVID stuff, we can talk about racings.
I don't see any other questions about COVID.
All right.
That's phenomenal.
Thumbs up. Move on.
So throughout, let's talk about all the different stuff we're going to talk about in this show, so you guys can spread the word right now. In about a half hour, 45 minutes, I'm going to tell you the direction and the trail inventory and the direction of every single trail in King of the Hammers. I'm not going to give you the connectors. I'm not going to talk about the order that they're in, but I'm going to tell you, for example, that we are driving up Jackhammer in King of the Hammers, and I'm going to tell you every trail up and down across the whole thing. We're going to talk about mileage in the desert loops. We're going to talk about mileage in for the desert race itself, so the desert bypass of the rocks. We'll talk about lap 1, lap 2, lap 3 of Ultra 4, and how long lap 4 is as well. There isn't a lap 4, but everybody thinks there is. We're going to talk about the shootout. We're going to talk about the coronation, which Cody Wagner hates the name of, but I understand. But it's a really cool idea. We're going to basically see if we can cut a brand new trail right in front of everybody watching. No net. And that's brought to us by LaserNet, the same people that make our trophies, by the way.
Yep.
Cody Wagner. So Cody's go out and making great trophies right now, as a matter of fact. So lots of cool stuff to talk about. One of the biggest things that's going to affect everybody at home watching is we have pay-per-view this year.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you have to pay to watch King of the Hammers.
So getting into that. So every year you have the free thing where I've been standing outside in the weather, I've been in the wind and done all that, and you guys have done a phenomenal job, and the show has gotten better and better each year. So for me, I'm kind of sitting in a bubble and getting information fed to me. But over the past couple of years with the tracking and the video and the helicopters and the drones and everything that you got going on and the remote cameras and stuff like that, all of that is going to continue to be free streaming as we know it.
The level of quality you saw last year, and even better than that, is going to be free.
Right.
On top of that, teams of race drones. We have an extra helicopter. We have in-car from at least 5 or 6 different cars, and even more in qualifying. We'll have a lot of cars covered in-car. We have in-car interviews with drivers while they're racing, while they're coming to the pit. We have a lot of really cool technology coming out and a lot of cool features. But the way it's going to work is pretty simple. When you're watching the free show, as you've always known it, and if we go to some of that premium content and cut to it, so we cut to one of those race drones, right? That footage is going to go to picture-in-picture small in the screen. So if you're watching the free show, you're still there, and
You have the premium.
the premium's picture-in-picture small
Right.
with an opportunity to purchase, and it's $10 to watch the race the entire week. You go watch it for $10. It's $35 to watch it for the whole season, because that's how you're going to be able to watch our series races. And if you're one of the first 1,000, that little subscribe button right next to this window, the first 1,000 people that subscribe to Ultra 4 TV for the year, which is going to be on Roku and on Vimeo,
Yep.
the first 1,000 get event T-shirts included. So basically, you're getting the entire season for $5.
And a T-shirt, right?
Well, the T-shirt's $25 or $30, whatever it is. We're going to send, and you're going to get the T-shirt before you even come to the race this year.
Right.
So it's worth it. We've spent probably about $500,000 each year making the live show happen, and we're trying to make it better. It's not a money grab. I want to make it better. I think there's more to do. I'm looking forward towards the day when we can give you a premium content, and as part of that premium content, you can choose which car to watch at King of the Hammers and watch the entire race from in-car, from any car on the track. You can
Right.
just pick a car off the track and you're watching in-car live.
Right. So similar to what they're doing in NASCAR. If you want to be in the car with your driver all day long, you can get there.
Yep.
But I've noticed over the past 5 years that I've been there off and on is that it gets better each year. Now, and obviously a lot of that is technology driven. We have the drones. You have the remote to be able to get the information back to the studio and get it out to the people. But how much has your budget grown for for the broadcast?
The budget hasn't changed at all for the broadcast. We still don't have. I don't think we have any contract items. This goes back to me not being terribly awesome at business, but none of our contract items tied to revenue to support the show. The show is what we use to grow the event, gets more racers, gets more people, and everything else. We're just doing our business. I mean, it's the same reason Walmart doesn't charge you for running the power to the sign out front, but they still have a sign out front.
No, but what I mean is with the technology and the more drones and the more cameras and all the different stuff, that budget has grown to you, not to the sponsor, but for you to cover this
from the days of shooting with your laptop camera.
Exactly.
And
Hold
running
on a
around
second.
the pits with your laptop.
That was Lance Clifford and Camo that did that. Lance Clifford sat there with his laptop, but
things have changed since then.
Things have changed a little bit.
And so you obviously have some exciting new partners that are working with you on this stuff, correct? Some people that are coming in to help you. It's all the same crew.
The same crew. It's just I'm able to give them more budget. I'm turning them loose. We literally are sitting on meetings once a week going, if you could do the coolest thing ever, what would you do? How would you, if you could make this the coolest show possible, what would you do?
Hi, Rick Johnson.
Rick L, Rick D.
All three of us, the three Stooges, the three amigos, whatever you want to call us. Rick Johnson, get ready. You're coming in as my double, or I'll double you, or we talked about this. I've taken credit for your ball wins. Anyhow, go ahead.
We're just going to make it better, and we're going to keep. I mean, I want to be able to do live telemetry to all the cars. I want to start offering services back to the racers where they can see live telemetry from the cars, and we're not far away from it.
Right.
We're building out a network good enough to make it happen. It's just a matter of a little bit more money.
Yep.
Like everything else, it's just like building a race car. You want a fast race car? Well, I want a little bit faster. Spend a little more money.
And it turns out that yes, the live feed is part of the business, but there's quite a few people involved in the company that are just like tech junkies. Dave being one of them,
Yep.
Travis Walder being another. All the production crew, we get off on being able to do cool stuff like that.
Well, and it's changing off-road racing. It's
here.
the demand.
Kayla and Chris, who are here making this show happen, are the
They
same
can't
guys
turn on a
that-
TV to save their life. They needed you to do that.
It broke my branded TV. That's a different problem, but
But the rest of the stuff, they are whizzes. They got that stuff
yeah,
down.
it's just audio-visual part.
That's right.
Which is a problem for my TV production guys to not know AV equipment, but it should be an indicator that we have a serious problem.
Is it the big red button on the top that says power?
Stick. Caleb, we're out of here. Full show.
Okay.
Alrighty,
let's get some stuff.
moving on.
Lots of stuff to cover. A lot of stuff to come back on that. Pay the bills. Let's pay the bills real quick. Can-Am, Ford, Monster, Toyo, Optima, 4 Parts, Method Race Wheels, Warren, King Shocks, Amsoil, BFG Garage, Holly, Laser Nut, Boxo Tools, Yukon Gear, PCI Race Radios. Share my coach. If you don't have an RV yet, you better hurry up because the RV selection is getting slim. Axial RC Cars, Griffin Radiator, Off the Grid Clothing, ARB, MBRP Exhaust, Rigid Lights, All Ball Racing Group, BP Racing Fuels. Let's talk about that real quick. First time ever this year, you're going to be able to buy pump gas at King of the Hammers, and you're going to be able to buy it for the same price it would cost right down the road at the gas station. So you're going to go over to VP, and you're going to be able to, it's 94 they're selling? 94 or 90, I think it's 94.
I think it's 94.
94 octane fuel, it's like $4.50 a gallon.
Right.
And you're going to be able to buy it right there at the welcome gate. So you're a few feet off of public land.
Yep.
You're on private land, but we're gonna be able to give you fuel right there.
That's awesome.
So, Brannick Engineering, thank you, Stan. HCR, Buggy Whips, Pro Eagle Jack, still doing the Pit Crew Challenge this year. Buggy Whips and Pro Eagle. PRP, Speed Straps, Factory 55, Trav 16 still managing the Fire Force, Savvy Off-Road, Action Sports Canopies, Squatch Box, Bomber Eyewear, and Dana Manufacturing. Still taking care of our volunteers. Thank you to the sponsors that are making the race happen. I'm going to keep going through this stuff.
All right.
So in order of stuff everybody knows what we're talking about, we're going to talk about scheduled events here real quick.
Yep.
I don't need any of these bullet points. Final date for Garage Spaces is January 8th. Final date for Hammertown Tent Rentals is January 8th. Final date for Wi-Fi ordering is January 8th, and generator rentals. Online registration is January 15th is the deadline for that. Oh wow, we're paying out a lot of money.
Got his attention. He paused.
Yeah. Looks like we're paying out $270,000 just in the desert racing, and then double that up for a little over $500,000 in purses going out. So yes, go ahead, please hit subscribe, please.
Hit that subscribe and pass it on to a friend on social
If you
media.
want to register for the race, ultra4license.com. That's ultra4license.com. Set up a driver account, ultra4racing.com. Please set up your driver accounts because if not, we're going to make up who your sponsors are and where you're from. Okay, let's talking about schedules, schedule events. The pre-running will open up on Thursday, January 28th. The front gate opens Friday, January 22nd at 8 a.m. That's the welcome gate opening. Please don't come earlier than that. It's open desert. Technically, I've got an exclusive use permit. I'm not going to run you off, but I'm asking you to please to wait till the 22nd. Got a lot of stuff happening. Pre-running opens up at noon, all courses. Friday or Thursday, the 28th at noon. You must be registered. You must have your pre-run flag on your car. If you go on the Marine base prior to pre-running or without a flag, you will be disqualified from the race. Not even gray area whatsoever. If you think you're being super smart and sneaky and going out on the Marine base and trying to pre-run, or you think it's super smart and sneaky and you don't realize you're on the Marine base, either way, you're disqualified on site. All I need is a description of your car and the car number, and that's the end of your race. Do not go on the Marine base before pre-running opens.
Hey, I have some good news.
Yeah.
The first Vimeo subscriber. Oh my gosh, we're getting a ton of them. But the first one is Stephen Heller. Thanks for subscribing.
Thanks,
Your
Stephen.
T-shirt will be on its way soon.
I think they're getting a code. The way we're handling that is we're emailing them their code, their discount code, which is a free T-shirt. Then they can just go and order up, and it's
Awesome.
on the way.
Well, they're rolling in
Did
right
anybody
now.
tell Roxy she had to ship out 1,000 T-shirts before King of the Hammers? Sorry, Roxy. Love you. Mean it. Friday, pre-running full course, open. We have a 7 p.m. drivers meeting for the Toyo Desert Challenge. That's all classes, 7 p.m. Friday night. Saturday morning, 8 a.m. It says 7 on the document, but I moved it back to 8 today because I know we can get everything in. 8 a.m. is qualifying. We're going to do a random draw between the UTVs and the Class 10 cars. You understand these challenges we got going on?
Yes, I'm all about it because, Mark Burnett is a friend of mine who has actually beat me in a couple of races because I broke and he's running. I'm in a
Not
trophy
because
truck.
He's faster than you.
No, he's not faster
Better?
than me. Please. He's in a golf cart and I'm in a trophy truck. So.
Sounds like he's way better than
He's
you. then.
way better. Yeah, he is. Anyways, but we've had this talk about how the UTVs have had to start so far in the back in the dust and how they have to work through so many different vehicles before they get there. And so with them having all-wheel drive in the sand, that's going to be an advantage, which I think the Class 10, which Ryan, you raced down in Baja, they'll have the advantage on some of the big bumps. But as long as these open turbo cars are, what would you, if you had to choose between two, you have two cars sitting there side by side, would you go Class 10 or would you go UTV?
So I'm really at the point, I've driven both of them, raced both of them, and I'm going to say it's a crapshoot right now.
That's not an answer.
I'll give you
I
my
said
answer.
pick one.
I picked Class 10
You pick Class 10. Why?
because, well, it's really tough. I mean, I know the course, and the course has historically been really fast. I mean, Bryce was over 73, 74 miles an
They
hour
were
average
flying
speed.
last year.
And Jason Shear on the Desert Loop was only two miles or so behind him, and then Luke McMillan was actually slower than Jason Shear.
Right.
So it was a full drive trophy truck, an Ultra 4 car, and then a 2-wheel drive trophy truck were the three fastest cars in the Desert Loop. And regardless how you looked at it, it was speed. It was really fast.
Right.
And from my perspective, a Class 10 car can outrun a UTV on wide open, go get it stuff. They've got more speed. They can go that speed longer without belts, that kind of thing.
Right.
However, there's probably 30 or 40 miles that are super tight and twisty, gnarly, rocky, technical,
Right.
where the UTV is going to just swallow up a 10 car.
Yeah.
So it's going to be crazy. It's going to be cool.
Well-
And even our qualifying is kind of indicative of both as well. So it's going to be cool to see.
It's for me knowing that desert out there because there are some hard spots when you get up to the top of the hills and stuff like that, but a lot of the stuff that lays down the bottom are sand berms and stuff like that. And I really feel that the all-wheel drive with the UTV and Honda doesn't have a belt, so they're not worried about that kind of deal, and they have the paddle shifters, so they're going to be someone to keep an eye on. But I think if I had to put a gun to my head, I would put my money on a side by side, on a UTV. Just because I think the all-wheel drive getting in and out of the corners, I think they're gonna increase. They're gonna get to 50 miles an hour faster, but then they won't be able to sustain the higher end as a Class 10. But that's opinions are like
I'll tell you what,
people.
we're going to know pretty early on Saturday.
Yep.
But by about 4:30 on Saturday, we'll know for sure.
Yep.
So
And I don't think there has not been a showdown, like literally between Class 10 and UTVs ever. So this is the first time where they're literally
thing-
going.
that was
And there's
just-
real money up for grabs.
that was just me being a fan. I go on Race Desert. I like why you sit there and watch everybody argue about it. It's like, all right, well, there's only one way to really find out.
Hey, you're a tough guy. You want to
go race.
fight? Let's fight.
Oh, but we qualify and they have to start from the back. No, we'll just qualify you guys together and we'll just enter mix the classes.
So that there's a couple other things you got to think about when it comes to passing and doing different things. That if a side by side gets in a tight section and they're able to get by a 10 car that out qualified them, how much straightaway speed are they going to have before that they can pass somebody? Because my cousin who used to tell me all the time, you could be actually over a second faster on a quarter mile oval, and still it's impossible to pass them unless you knock them out of the way. You're not going to have that speed. So there's going to be a lot of factors, and honestly, I can't wait to see it. And I hope that this is the beginning of more things to come.
Right on. So that's Saturday. We're going to do, and then Saturday night, we're really going to have some fun. So Empy and Baja Jerky have combined together to help make this race happen. We're paying $20,000 for the Class 11 showdown. And it is going to be on the short course under the lights, but it's going to be a kind of a tweaked short course. So we have about 2.5 miles of desert all within that fenced area there, all under the lights for the most part. And we're going to race for about an hour and a half. So I'm expecting to get, 25 laps in. We're going to figure that out with the drivers.
Can you imagine how big the sand whoops are going to be, Ryan? For
No.
a Class 11, rolling through the corners. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're hammering the sand the way that thing is built, which I mean, you guys have done. I was out there shooting some stuff, a commercial, and you don't even know where that's at. It's just put back to completely like brand new, and then you guys go in there and build these big berms and everything. So that is going to be, it's going to be hard to finish that race.
Yep.
I will say, driving in a Class 11 car, I raced a Class 11 car back 10, 15 years ago, and it is not as rough as you would think it is. It is actually a smoother ride than you would suspect.
You beat yourself up exactly as much as your body can handle.
Exactly.
Whether it's a Class 11 car or a four-wheel drive trophy truck, you are still beating yourself up exactly the same amount.
Yep. All right.
So, Sunday morning, Larry Rosser is going to help do some broadcasting for the Class 11 show. It's going to be our announcer for the Class 11 Showdown.
Congratulations to Larry for winning another Ball 1000 this year, by the way.
That is 87th, right?
Like 150, I thought.
Yep. Sunday, go to some more desert racing. The Toyo Desert Challenge, Day 2. This schedule might change a little bit, and I'm going to call some people out. But we gave trophy trucks all the life, all the glamour, all the TV shows, all the stuffs, and we have 7 trucks right now. We gave them a lot of money. I don't know if we're still sitting 10, 12, 15 trucks. I'm not giving them their own race. I'm going to put them in with the spec trucks and the Class 1 cars, and they'll go in qualifying order. So if a spec truck beats a trophy truck, bummer.
Well, we've seen that Brock Hager put it up right up towards the front. So
But that's if the trophy trucks don't show. If we get up to 15, 20 trophy trucks, I'll put them on the course. But I can't make a live show out of 7 trucks driving around.
all right, trophy trucks, you heard it. We need more trophy trucks out there.
Don't you drive a trophy truck?
Huh?
Huh?
I drive Trophy Truck Legend. Do you have a Legend class? I'll call Gus and we'll show up.
Okay.
Damn, no respect. All right, can I go over something on when it comes to that? And you bridged over it, and you could tell me that you have something for it later. But you said about the drivers' meeting. Do you want to go into that, or a little bit later how it's virtual?
I'll touch the drivers' meeting in a second. Let's talk about the course details on. It's 77 mile for Loop A.
Okay.
And 40 miles on Loop B.
Okay.
So 117 miles for one lap. We'll run 2 full laps.
Yep.
And then 1 more lap of the long loop.
Okay.
That'll get us to 300.
Got
300 and change. It's 114, 228. Yeah, it's like a 305 miles.
Got it.
So that's our all the desert race classes will all run that same race. Okay.
Got it.
305 miles.
And there is, because I had someone ask me, you are not capping the entries on Trophy Truck Spec, because if they come, they're racing.
They come, they're racing, and they pay an entry fee, and they get a COVID test.
Yeah, obviously that, but I'm just saying, it's not like, oh, we're doing 30 guys or whatever. If 50 of them show up, 50 are racing.
Go. Let's go.
Got it.
Yeah. And we're paying $50,000 purse just between B1, which is really any unlimited buggy. There's some Ultra 4 guys. I hear Paul Hirsch's racing. So there you go right there.
Yeah.
Class 1, trophy truck spec trophy truck, 6100, whatever you want to call it. T2 for us. And 4400 cars, which are also B1. They're unlimited buggies.
Yep.
What do you take? A 2-wheel drive Class 1 car, 2-wheel drive spec truck, or a 4-wheel drive Class 1 car? A 4-wheel drive Ultra 4 car in desert trim.
On that, I looked at the entry list, and there's a lot of gunslingers and stuff. But I would have to take Cody Parkhouse in the buggy because they in the B1. Because here's why: because buggies are a little lighter, and they're with the independent rear. They're able, like in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you've seen how fast Harley Lightner would go in his buggy and stuff, so. That's my shot, and I could be wrong, and anybody could beat him, but I would put my money on the B1. I think that's with the sand out there and the size of the jumps and the bumps and everything. I would give him the advantage.
7 p.m. Sunday night, after we've crowned our new desert racing king, we will have our drivers meeting for all qualifying for the week. That's all classes, and that's where we can talk about drivers meeting.
Yes.
All of our drivers meetings will be virtual. The way this will work is pretty straightforward, and Travis Walter can correct me, but how about he'll just make it happen. We have a Wi-Fi system on the lake bed. We can carve out an intranet, not an internet. We can get a feed where we can communicate to different people inside of Hammertown.
Yep.
Each team is going to basically assign a phone. The the crew chief, the driver, whoever is the person, the one point of contact, and that's going to be our ability to contact the team whenever we need to. Conversely, that's the team's ability to contact us whenever they need to. They can check in with us directly at all times, 24 hours a day. They can get me even without cell service. On that same backbone, that same infrastructure, we're going to be able to do a Zoom call drivers meeting.
Right.
And we'll be able to tell who's on, so we have attendance covered, and that's just it. We'll do our drivers meetings that way. We still have a big tent. We're going to be doing some SEMA Tech Talk stuff and some Ford Tech stuff in the big tent still, but we're not going to be doing drivers meetings that way. So Monday we have the Can-Am UTV King of the Hammers qualifying. That starts at 9 a.m. We're going to go through all the time slots in a second. I'll read off all the names and what slot you're going to be qualifying in. We also have the Holly Shootout presented by King Shocks and Action Sports Canopies, and plus the Laser Nut Rock Coronation. So the coronation is Cody's figured out a trail that's never been run before. It's directly next to the shootout, our shootout trail. And when the shootout gets someone hung up in it, then we'll send a rock crawler up the other side. And so we won't have that downtime during the shootout. We'll either have a rock crawler doing their thing on one course, and right next to it will be the shootout happening. And that way we don't have those long, drawn out, while we're trying to do recoveries. Those rock bouncer guys can get themselves pretty hung up because they leave it all hanging out there. It's a pretty great show when they do their thing. Yeah. But so that's Monday night. 7 p.m. is our All Balls King of the Motos mandatory riders meeting. 7 p.m. also virtual. Tuesday morning, we're actually going to do a split day. We have the 4 Parts Everyman Challenge qualifying day, as well as the All Balls King of the Moto. 2 races, one at 9 a.m. and one at 3 p.m. The second race is only about an hour and a half long. It'll be done by 4:30. All the motos will be happening during the day this year. The motos will have full coverage while we'll also effectively for the first time ever have 2 different broadcasts. We'll have a motos coverage and we'll have qualifying coverage happening. So you'll be able to watch both.
Perfect.
You're gonna figure that out, right, Chris?
Okay,
cool. Okay, 5:30. Tuesday evening, the Pro Eagle and Buggy Whips Pit Crew Challenge. Boxo Tools, I think, is also part of that deal. Wednesday morning, we are doing qualifying for the 4400 class along with LCQ. We're also doing tech and contingency for the Can-Am race. Wednesday evening is our drivers meeting for all classes of rock racing. So everyone has one drivers meeting on Wednesday night, and that's our last meeting of the entire event. Thursday is the Can-Am UTV race. Friday is the 4 Parts Everyman Challenge. And Saturday, for the first time, is the King of the Hammers powered by Optima batteries. I'm going to put to rest some rumors here real quick. I've been saying Nitto King of the Hammers for quite a long time. Before that, I said Griffin King of the Hammers.
Right.
I'm not saying anybody's name before King of the Hammers this year. And I think that'll be rectified at some point. This is a pretty crazy year, and that's just the way it's going to be. I felt it was more important to have continuity where we were. I'd rather not just be jumping from sponsor to sponsor. So hopefully as the dust clears next year, we're right back to the same family and the same sponsors we've had all along. It was a contract year. It also lined up with this pandemic thing we got going on. Yep. And I'm going off script. Nitto gave me no talking points, but I don't want the rumor out there saying that Nitto somehow abandoned us. They haven't. They're still partners, and they're still people that we love to work with. We're just kind of sitting this one out for this race. Yep. So that's that. Hope I didn't say anything wrong there. Maybe I don't have a sponsor anymore. Who knows? Where are we at? That was Saturday. That was Sunday. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We've already done it. We're all the way through Saturday. Saturday night, 10 p.m. the race ends, and everybody picks up all their trash and goes home safely.
Let's talk about some of the cool stuff that's happening around Ford being a partner this year.
Okay, I can do that. I've got that one right here. Look at that.
Loaded up and ready to go.
It's year 2 of a 3-year sponsorship. I think it's probably fairly safe that it's out of the bag with the Broncos coming out this year. So the legend returns. There will be 30, I think. I've heard 30 Broncos on the lake bed, 2-door, 4-door, and the Bronco Sports. And they will be doing ride-alongs, and I believe you could even drive. And you're going to meet some members of the Ford team. There's Lauren Healy and Vaughn Gittin Jr., Cameron Steele, and Brad Lovell will all be there. Bronco team engineers, the Bronco Nation, their online community. They'll have Bronco merch and giveaways and everything else. And we are super stoked. I think the thing that I'm most excited about with Ford coming out this year, I don't know the exact numbers and I'll screw this up, but their new F-150 has 7,000 or 7 kW of power to the bed. You don't even need a generator anymore. They're putting out 7 kW of power just driving around town. So we're going to partner up with Richard and Ford, and we're going to be able to light up some stuff. We're going to have sound systems or everything else, and it's just drive the truck over, and that's all the power you need.
That is awesome.
So super stoked with that opportunity. I think I covered that all correctly, Ryan?
I think you did.
All right. So I've got schedules. I've got Ford. I've got, well, we don't need the COVID thing anymore. Let's put all that stuff right there.
Did you want to touch base on, you mentioned something about short course?
I didn't mention anything about short course.
Yes, you did. You said the Class 11s are running on the short course only.
I did say that, yes. I did say that they're racing on the
Is there
short.
anything else that might be happening? Anything?
Huh?
Anything? Just maybe curious. Thinking?
There will be a demo.
All right.
So there's been, if anybody follows short course out there, and I hope some of them do, the West Coast series isn't happening anymore. The partner that was running that is not doing that right now anymore.
Yep.
And there's a new series kind of come out, going to fill that void. And I've agreed to have those guys come and put on a show for us at King of the Hammers.
Oh, who is it?
It's not really important yet.
Well, kind of. I mean, so.
Do you know how to
Do you
race? Do you know anything about short course racing, Ricky?
I don't know a damn thing about it. So, where are you going to race? Where are they going to race? Do you have that yet?
I don't.
Who are the main sponsors? Come on, now, we need to know all this stuff. See,
You don't need to know.
I come from a short course background. I've won a couple of times there, and big fan of it. So I'm just curious. People want to know, Dave.
Hey,
Come on.
somebody just told me to punch you.
Well, they need to. You're a little small. He punches me.
I thought that. Did you tell me I thought that and it popped up on your screen?
Tell the person to. Anyhow, so no, you're going to have a demonstration, bringing some short course vehicles out. That is awesome. So it looks like short course is going to stay alive on the West Coast.
I believe it will. Yeah, I think there's some really cool stuff happening now.
That's awesome. I mean, because obviously, Lucas, you got to give it to them. I mean, they've supported short course from the beginning, all the way back in Crandon and all the different stuff. And evidently, it doesn't work in their business model and stuff like that. So no poo-poo on them. I mean, they've done their part
it for 15 years,
and they brought it to another level. That they've done a great job. But I'm excited to see who these new guys on the West Coast are. We'll talk after the show, and see where it's going, because this. I'll be honest with you. I'm a fan of racing, and when it comes to automotive racing, I mean, there's nothing more extreme than Ultra 4. I'll give you that. And when it comes to speed, there's nothing that goes faster down bumps than a trophy truck. But when it comes to just door-to-door banging on each other and just all-out racing, there's nothing better than a short course Pro 2, Pro 4, Pro Light battle, because the gloves come off. And half the time the bodies come off as well. So that's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. Right?
Someday.
Someday soon.
Okay.
I'll find out. I'll let you know. Watch my Instagram feed.
More rock crawling. More rock racing?
Yes, more rock racing. So we've already done desert. We've done that.
Well, yeah, we're gonna get to rock. So here's what I was gonna start. So I've got a few more things to talk about. Really, I'm gonna talk about all the trails that are on the rock course. I'm gonna talk about the EB class coming out. But before I go there, what I'm going to do right now is go through the qualifying order for UTVs. I'm sorry, for UTV in Class 10, and then all the way through the desert classes. I'm going to talk about I'm going to give the qualifying order all the way through all classes right now. And as soon as I get done that, then we're going to talk about the rock trails. We're going to talk about the EV class. And we're going to answer some questions and be done here. What time is it? We're doing okay? Or
We're flying.
have we already blown through an hour already, Ryan?
48 minutes.
Okay, well, we're going to beat this thing in less than an hour and a half. We got this. Okay, in order, any of these names that I say, and you have some feedback, keep it to yourself. First off, 8 a.m. desert class. This is B3 UTVs. Dean Wheeler, Blaine Conrad, Jared Teague, Pat O'Keefe, Jason Willett, Matt Winslow, Troy Shipman, Jim Henley, Jim Borden, Dave Mason Jr., Kyle Cheney, Dan Hearn, Jeremy Davis, Nathan Martino, Austin Weiland, Brandon Sims, Ethan Hagel, Trevor Rasmussen, Travis Zollinger, Corey Goyne, Chase Warren, Brent Fox, Phil Blurton, and Matt Burrows. Those are the 24 cars that are in the Saturday afternoon race thus far. Entries are coming in pretty quick. I think we have 510 total entries right now.
And once again, that is the draw. That's qualifying order.
Correct.
Okay, and just to be clear, don't hit me again. Is that how you qualify side by side or class 10 is how you start?
Correct.
Got it.
Then we go to T1, Raul Gomez, Bryce Menzies, Cameron Steele, Kelly MacArthur, Jax Redline, Kit Stokes, and Andy McMillan.
McMillan.
I understand, but it's number 31, and I know that Luke and Dan have at least temporarily
Oh,
withdrawn.
so misprint. My bad.
Yeah, well, I just read 31, and I hadn't gotten an email from Luke, so I knew that was Andy. I think we messed it up, but
Okay.
I know Andy will be there. And hopefully Luke and Dan come back too. We'll see. Brock Dickerson, Kenneth Goodall, Chris Hicks, Cody Parkhouse, Justin Davis, Ray Acox, Casey Curry, Ladd Gilbert, Brad Etter, Adam Lunn, Jake Johnson, and Paul Horschel.
So this goes back to, we got Casey Curry. He's going to be running an all-wheel drive. Correct?
I would assume he is running an all-wheel drive. It says B1, so I would assume that is his Ultra 4 car, desert car.
Right. His Ultra 4.
Casey, if you're watching, let us know if you're racing your Ultra 4 car. Heath Shoup, Mike Osborne, Travis Chase. These guys are all in spec trucks. Travis Chase, Travis Williams, Shane Dahlquist, Paul Broughton, Jeff Proctor, Vincent Munoz, Valerie Clark, Trevor Harvey, John Walton, Mike Pyle, Jeff Bader, Brad Lovell, Bo Bland, Charles Dorrance, Chuck Dempsey, Alex Gonzalez. Got a lot of spec trucks. That's exciting.
That is awesome.
Okay, let's keep moving. Motos. This is your qualifying time at 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning. This is one of my favorite names. I've read it almost every Motos. Bernard Hasobisque. I'm sure I've messed it up every time. Jamison Moses, Yoram Levy, John Kearney, Ryan Gray, Josh Weiser, Drew Dixon, Rodrigo Lopez, Bo Law, Brian Curlis, Jeff Robinson, Jacob Field, Jeff Delaney, Tim O'Reilly, Jackson Davis, Brian Leonard, Dennis Ozatsky, Cody Webb, million-time champ, Cooper Abbott, Dan Hawakawa, Matt Hoffman, Vincent Green, Brandon McGowan, James Hall, Tony Zabala, Chad McQueen, Cody Welchel, Jack Williford, Michael Woodley, Tristan Hart, Cameron Steele. I'll be happy to pay your entry to go race Cameron Steele. I want to see you race Cameron Steele in King of the Motos.
King of Motos?
Never, not ridden bikes before?
Do they have a Legends class?
Well, he can qualify. He's just got darker hair and more.
It's not darker underneath that.
Dan Jensen.
Love you, Cam.
Kyle Negus, Mario Murillo, Alex Lair, Wayne Dickert, Travis Brock, Shane Redline, Dennis Sweeten, Justin Koo, German Aragon, Louise Forsley. Louise is back. That's awesome. Sean Kepler, James Stearns, Will Reardon, Connor, Najedli, Tom Walker. Thanks, Tom, for having the last name of Walker. Tucker Hopkins, Jared Lamb, Joe Nemeth, Jake Eliason, Bradley Hahn, Pablo Rojas, Jared Jasicki, and Sean Carlson. That runs out. That's all desert cars and bikes in qualifying order.
Just a quick note here to remind everybody that's listening, all these qualifying orders will be posted on the website tonight after the live show. So if you're missing it here right now, you'll be able to find it on the website.
Copy that. UTV. This is for the Can-Am Rock UTV race. This is your qualifying order. 9 a.m. Nelson Sparks, Robert Taylor, Jesse Nelson, Austin Weiland, Chris Cornell, Kenny Butts, Steve Mueller, Lauren Healy, Garrett Toombs, Steve Schneider, Mark Molasoli, Aaron Clark, Zachary Davis, Nathan Zollinger, Brian Reed. I believe that's his daughter actually racing. I believe Brian's daughter is going to be racing, not Brian. 10 a.m. start. Troy Shipman, Bailey Cole, Kyle Osborne, Heath Taylor, Dan Wyrick. Cool to see Dan racing UTVs. Ronnie Anderson. That's RJ's brother, right?
Yep. Little brother.
Yep.
Taller.
Yep. Patrick Murray, Jason Niemer, Tristan Montgomery, Edgar Felix, JP Gomez, Marcos Gomez, Raul Gomez. We might want to take some. Alan, don't put any more cars in the 10 a.m. slot. We're going to have a lot of recoveries.
You missed Rob Tinglestad at the top there.
I was saving that name till the end because that name makes me tingly. Rob Tinglestad, Brandon Hurd. So Rob, you're actually before JP, Marcos, and Raul, which is good because there's probably going to be a mess on the race course. I'm just kidding a little. Jacob, 11 o'clock hour. Jacob Versey, Joshua Smith, Chris McDaniel, Levi Shirley, Ray Johnson, Mike Snook, Dylan Heiser, Jim Henley, Tristan Leone, Daniel Markley, Mark Welch, Chip McLaughlin, Jay Shaw, Benjamin Miller, Adam Kennett. That's the 11 o'clock. We'll take a break, and at 2 o'clock hour, we'll be back with Michael Lee, Zandy Willems, Ron Schaefer, Robert Smith. Ron Schaefer is the guy that built this patio, by the way. Him and his girlfriend,
Nice job,
Treasure.
Ron.
Thanks, Ron. Robert Smith, Ben Jones, Phil Cagliaro. It's going to be good to see Phil back. Garrison Calloway, Michael Cox, Louis Leon. Said that name before somewhere. Chris Holland, Valerie Clark, Matt Peterson, Chad Jesse, Jeff Gorsuch, Mike Sawyer. 3 o'clock hour, Mike Mellon, Sarah Price, Anthony Yount, Brent Zimmerman, Robert Stogner, Patrick Larabaru, Christopher Dangler, John Duckworth, Brian Biggers, Ryan Kummerfelt, Jacob Tuma, Caleb Broker, Rodrigo Empudia. Good to see Rodrigo back too. Luke Shepard. And the Power Hour in the Can-Am UTV race. Jason Weller, Justin Barth, Waylon Campbell, Shannon Campbell, Johnny Greaves, Cameron Steele, Jerry McGrath, Casey Curry, CJ Greaves. I thought we were putting I thought the talent was supposed to be in the Power Hour.
I don't know.
I mean,
Couple
I've heard most of these guys, I think.
There's a lot of championships.
Jason Weller, Justin Barth, Waylon Campbell, Shannon Campbell, Johnny Greaves, Cameron Steele, Jeremy McGrath, Casey Curry, CJ Greaves, Travis Zollinger, Scott Raymer, Mitch Guthrie Sr. I've heard he's capable of winning this race. Trey McKinley, Cody Miller, Dustin Jones, Kyle Cheney, Scott Lesage, Phil Blurton, Mitch Guthrie Jr. Good luck to Mitch. Is Mitch the only one that I've mentioned so far that's over in Dakar right now? I don't know that. I didn't.
Yes, that's all that I know.
Jamie McCoy, East Coast guy who is really fast. Nathan Wolf and Hunter Miller. That is the Can-Am qualifying, finishing up with Power Hour.
So, speaking of the / to VP, Mike Emerson just shot me a text, and when you said at the beginning Jesse Nelson, I'm like, it made me think of a motocross racer named Jesse Nelson.
It is Jesse Nelson.
I know. Who, as a kid, ripped his thumb off. So he ran with a prosthetic thumb, made it to the pro ranks, did all the different stuff, broke his back or his neck in motocross and supercross, and now he's racing in hand controls. So Jesse, I mean, you've been my hero since I've known you since you were a little kid, watching you up at Zaka Station and stuff like that. But this just tells you the determination of racers. I mean, you can keep knocking them down, but they keep getting back up. And Jesse's one of those kids that was just so fast and all the different stuff. And it was an unfortunate accident. I mean, things happen. When you're going that fast and you're running that close to the edge, things happen. So it's awesome. Thank you, Mike, for getting that information to us. And I want to wish Jesse Nelson, I mean, that is a stacked, and it's a huge field of championships. I mean, you got McGrath, you got Casey Curry, you got Johnny Greaves, CJ Greaves, all the different stuff. So
Mitch Guthrie?
No, I'm just saying
Shannon
outside,
Cameron,
right?
Steele,
Yeah,
yeah.
Cameron Steele. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Those weren't my favorites. That just was what first popped in my head. But let me ask you, Dave, as a driver, we've seen a lot of the guys run this UTV course. How does it relate to racing an Ultra 4? What do you get? You get rock knowledge, you get traction knowledge. Obviously, your line has to be slightly different because the wheels are so much smaller.
Are
The
you
horsepower.
asking, are you asking why there's so many crossover guys? Why are they doing it? Or are you
Yes.
asking?
Why are they doing it? Are they gaining
that's-
something for Sunday or for Saturday's race?
I think some of them are doing it to gain, but quite honestly, OEMs for UTVs and the UTV market, the industry of UTVs, is the revenue. It's the money that's infusing the sport right now.
Right.
I mean, if there is more opportunity, those companies and the companies that are supporting the UTV industry are marketing their products, so they are enticing that level of talent to race on their products. So it's, is there some level of I can learn a little bit more about the course? Yeah, I would think so, but I think it's just an overall health of the industry. That
People want to go racing. You give them another opportunity.
yeah,
too.
no, but that level of talent. He's asking about why is Johnny Greaves and CJ Greaves.
Well, I understand them for King of the Hammers, but Shannon, a guy that is going out that has the potential, Waylon Campbell, that to win.
I think Shannon Campbell would race a shopping
Lawnmower.
cart. He'd race a shopping cart through the parking lot.
So back to my original question: is there crossover between driving
Yes.
a side by side
Yes.
and an
So
Ultra
from a
4?
technically, yes. I think that you absolutely can learn more about the lines. The course changes throughout the week. What you pre-ran on the Thursday prior isn't what it's like the next Thursday. Especially after
Right.
all the pre-runnings happened, all the crowds been on the course, all that stuff. I think you learn a little bit that way. I think that a UTV, specifically to an IFS car, drive very similar.
Right.
Carrying momentum through the rocks, that kind of stuff. And if you can drive the course in a UTV, you should be able to drive it in your 4400 car.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see the learning curve there. It's kind of like the guys that they'll go to the Mint and do the morning pre-runner race
Exactly.
so they can see the course. But
Well, that's what I was saying. So for me, it is, as I said, what I call the dirt knowledge. Because you've gone when you took Luke and I to Chocolate Thunder. It was awesome. There was no sand on the rocks. It was filled up in between the different stuff, and then all of a sudden during the race, it gets so
yeah.
worked out, and for people shooting sand all over the place, it completely changes the traction of the rocks and
Yep.
and all that line and stuff like that. So I know that I would do it because of just sheer. I would want more seat time. But with somebody that has that much seat time and is so good at their craft, is there some translation? So maybe someone can text Ryan, say yes or no. Or
I agree with you.
Someone can say hit me again.
I think you learn the rocks more, and if you can pull it off and you can find the lines for the UT for the most part, you should be able to drive a 4400 car through it easier. For the most part, sometimes not. They're narrower. They can get through some stuff differently.
Yeah.
But
Well, as we talked about, I was out there with the Honda with the 2-seater and the 4-seater, and I felt the 4-seater, like a lot of times. When I went there, I thought Luke was going to eat me up in the 2-seater just because of getting through everything. But the length of the wheelbase was helping me bridge the gap from point to point, and Luke was getting a lot more sideways and hanging off the edge a lot more than I was. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think majority is going to go with the 2-seater.
absolutely, yes, absolutely, especially in the Can-Am car and the Polaris.
The Can-Am 4-seater is long.
It's a long car.
Yeah.
I like to race more in the desert, but it's short course. I mean, for rocks, it's way too long.
Yeah, way too long.
But it's an amazing car to get around the desert.
Hey, real quick, let's circle back to the VP. We did get confirmation it's 94 octane on the lake bed for regular vehicles.
Yep. Did they give us a price?
Don't have a price yet.
I know they're selling it in 5 gallon barrels, and they're selling it right out of the pump. both ways.
And what this means is you don't have to leave the lake bed to go get fuel for your rock crawler, for your UTV, for your. It's open to everybody on the lake bed to buy fuel from VP
At a price that is similar within a few pennies of what you'd find at a gas station on the road.
Super convenient.
Yes. Thank you, VP, for making that happen. That wasn't easy. VP will also be putting the hand sanitizer all around Hammertown as well. They are all about trying to help us make it the best event we can get.
One of the things worthy of noting here is we do have a partnership with OnX Off-Road, and you are going to be able to download race course and spectator area, and well, not download the race course. You'll be able to download their app. There'll be a link on the website and other areas where you can download this app, get a discount. But the cool thing is that Hammertown will also be up on the map, so you'll be able to find the vendors that you want to go see in Hammertown.
Right on. Okay. We've covered the fact that the course, let's talk about some course details. And then I've got 4,400 driver stuff. So the people that, I'll do one more plug, pay-per-view. There's a subscribe button there. It's $35. The first 1,000, we shouldn't have hit 1,000 yet. The first 1,000 get an event T-shirt along for the $35. That gives you the entire year subscription to Ultrasport TV. Gets you all the series races, as well as all the premium content at King of the Hammers. It'll be $10 a race to watch it one at a time. It's way worth it, $35. Thank you for your support, and we would love any input. Anything, you know what? Anything you'd want to see out there, anything you'd love to have seen differently. Man, I would have loved to have seen this in a race. We want the ideas. We're trying to anything as creative as we can. If you have any ideas about what you'd like to see in content, we'll see if we can pull it off for you. Okay. I have 4,400 names. I have the EV class, and I have course direction stuff.
Yep.
Let's do 4,400 names first. Then we'll do the EV class, and then we'll do the last thing. What everybody wants to hear is what trails they're going to race on. Right?
Yep.
You have any questions now before we go?
I don't have any questions right now.
Does your magic screen over there have questions?
No, I think we may have a few more COVID questions as we wrap up.
Okay.
I think it's worthy of touching on that, but let's keep the momentum
We
going.
can come back to it. 4,400 qualifying order, 9 a.m. Jared Gunter, Eric Blaze, Nate Jesse, Andrew McLaughlin, Eric Foster, John Grounds, Ron Prindle, Kevin Yoder, Tom Gilpin, Stan Haynes, two of my favorite humans in that class. I'll let you figure out who those two people, actually there's several humans in there that I like a lot. Edwin Abd, it's 10 o'clock. Edwin Abd, Tom Ways, Cody Miller, Kevin Taylor, Chris Hicks, Jordan Pellegrino, Greg Adler, Tad Dowker, Luis Gallardo. This is including people that are LCQ. The 11 o'clock hour, Kenneth Goodall, Kevin Porterfield, Brent Gagerborough, Hunter Sparrow, Kevin Williams, Ray Acox, Joe Hutchins, Tim Hooper, Eric Miramon. Be good to see Eric racing again. 1 o'clock hour, that was 11 o'clock. 1 o'clock hour, Chris Wicks, Brian Reed, Kevin Miller, John Cagliaro. Excellent to see John back as well. Brendan Thompson, John Moole, Dustin Eisenhower, Tom Prendergast, and Greg Stearns. The 2 o'clock hour, David Oliver, Darian Gomez, Brett Harrell, Brian McVeigh, Patrick Peterson, Eric Wicks, Kevin Stearns, Quentin Hilburn, Hunter Miller. So going at it, he's doing the LCQ, he's going at it in the UTV again. And Kyle Cheney. So back to back at 2 o'clock, going into the LCQ will be Hunter Miller and Kyle Cheney to see if they get a spot again. Whoa. 3 o'clock, Jason Blanton, Chip McLaughlin, Matt Burkett, Brian Caprera. Man, I'll say this right now. I saw Brian Caprera's car at the desert this past weekend. It's actually on Monday I saw it. It's his new Joe Thompson car, and it might be the sexiest vehicle I've ever seen in my life. Did I not do EMC? Did I really not do EMC?
You're saving them best for last, right?
Yeah, I'm dumb. I held it in my hand and looked at it, and I thought, no, I've already read it. I didn't read it. We'll come back to the EMC in 1 second. But yes, that Joe Thompson car that Brian's driving is the sexiest car I've seen, period. Rusty Blyther, Cody Addington, Zandy Willems, Brian Crofts, Tommy Dykstra. 4 p.m. power hour for the King of the Hammers. John Webb in the Power Hour, the man with the speakers. Jason Shear, Cameron Steele, Lauren Healy, Paul Horschel, Casey Curry, Randy Slauson, Shannon Campbell, Bailey Cole, Dan Wyrick, Marcus Gomez, Raul Gomez, Levi Shirley, Eric Miller, Waylon Campbell, Tracy Jordan? What? And we put him in the Power Hour? Okay. Okay, Tracy, you're lucky Alan was making the calls on this one. Jeff McKinley, but Tracy, thanks for coming back. Jeff McKinley, JP Gomez, and the reigning king, number 41, Josh Blyler. Okay, since I didn't do EMC, and that is a complete oversight on my part, we'll do EMC right now. We're still tracking? We're still going?
Yep.
Okay.
So let me ask you a technical question. Not that technical, but would you rather qualify early or late? Because depending on course and all the different stuff, I mean, the short course versus desert.
I'd rather qualify third in the second group or second to last. Nothing in the middle.
Okay.
You don't want to go first because the rocks are super cold in the morning and things are still sorting out. There might be the one random rock that's going to go blown out by the sixth guy.
Yep.
But then you don't want to go midday either because the course just gets wrecked. But man, there's a different level of energy for the guys in the Power Hour. They go nuts, guys and girls. They go nuts.
Well,
So that just makes as you're a driver, you're sitting there on the start line. You're watching your peers do it. You know what you have to do. It changes your level of energy in the driver's seat, doesn't it?
Yep.
So
for me, so that's what I'm saying. If it's a short course, you want to be out early, unless they water it a ton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of the desert qualifying and stuff, the ruts get so big, it gets slower and slower and slower. But there has guys been able to pull it off. But in this Power Hour, there's so many good guys, and there seem to be so much harder on the gas that the course is going to deteriorate that much more in just that last group of guys.
What's tended to be a problem, we got to look at timing on this. I'm going to do my best. We might actually switch the timing on the Power Hour to try to move it up a little bit. Historically, we've had a problem with sunlight.
Right.
Where that's like they're coming in, and it's also the way I design the course too. I'll try to design a course that we don't have them coming off into sunlight, coming right into the ball of fire in the sky kind of thing.
Right.
So I keep that in mind.
Okay.
EMC qualifying, 9 a.m. Ross Glaive, Thomas Biddle, Kyle Cunliffe, Randall Holmes, Kimberly Sparrow, Brett Dixon, Michael Miller, Sean Ratchke, Rick Levezzo, Rob Graham, James Penzella, Patrick Beckwith. 10 a.m. Scott Morris, Chris Brown, Jesse Lee, Josh Patt, Chance Holloman, Michael Henn, Richard Fenton, John Williams, Dustin Bratton, Justin Day, Brent Harrell, Michael London. 11 o'clock hour, looks like this is mostly 4600. Ken Hale, Joseph Edmonds, Christian Thordson, Steve Graff, Kevin Jones, Justin Castillo. I guess it's not mostly 4600. Matt Scherbino, John Grounds, Chase Caprera, Jeremy Montenegro, Buddy Carlton, Sean Leonardini. 2 p.m., Scott Foley, Michael Amaral, Connor Foltz, Joshua Baxi, Benjamin Miller, Travis Riley Sr., Brian Trempy, Mike Johnson, Josh Allen, Victor Bunnis, Andrew Gorman. I just said Michael London a second ago. I'm positive of it. Alan? Man, it's the same car number. We will get that rectified. I'm not going to read it twice. Anthony Arola, Jace Nix, Pete Fierro, Trevor Foltz, Eric Wickel, John Holtzman, George Schooley, Justin Foxworthy, Paul Tyler, Joe Mashier, Dustin Sexton. Power Hour, 4 o'clock. Dawson Allington, Chuck Crossland, Dwayne Garrettson, Sean Rance Sr., Levi Shirley, Albert Contreras, John Snell, John Schaefer, John Matthews, and Casey Gilbert. I'm sure there's more on this next page. There they are. David Hartman, Cody Sinclair, Justin Hall, Jesse Oliver, Kenneth Goodall, Justin Barth, Jeremy Jones, Dan Fresh, Cade Rod, who hasn't registered yet, but we're assuming he's going to, and Brad Lovell. The 19 people that are taking rear starts: Brandon Sloan, Derek Miller, George Evans, Vaughn Neville, Alex Fleming, Amber Turner, Anthony Hatzel, Anthony Vanoy, Chad Miller, Daniel May Applegate, Dottie Callenbeck, Josh Atterbury, Justin Bainey, Justin Reese, Ken Carter, Martin Lang, Ryder Mudwalder, Sean McNamara, and Vince Blass. That is all 510 people that have currently registered for the 2021 King of the Hammers and all its associated races.
Damn. Take a breath. Have
Take
sip.
a breath. Let's talk about scheduling tech through Roxy.
Yes.
I just got a text message that Cam Steele might be in EMC qualifying as well. Can't say what car yet, though.
Cameron Steele might be racing Everyman Challenge in qualifying. He doesn't know what vehicle yet, but it's Cameron Steele. You never know when he'll show up.
So circling back on scheduling tech through Roxy at info@ultra4racing.com. I believe we've got some remote tech possible
We're doing
as well.
remote tech. I think Tribe 4x4, Tribe 4x4 did
Yeah.
it a few weeks ago. Adam Woodley in Nashville. I think he's in Nashville, Murfreesboro, wherever Adam's at. He just did one this past weekend. So yeah, I believe there's one coming up at Wayne Iselson's shop, All Tech.
Yeah.
We're trying to spread out tech around the country so you can get your car tech before you show up. Make it a lot easier for you.
Something else we need to talk about is a relationship with Forest River. Forest River RV manufacturer. They will have if you own a Forest River RV, there will be a special camp area, and they're planning to do some fun stuff with the Forest River RV owners. There's also going to be 3 Forest River dealers on site that will be, I think there's going to be close to 30 different models of RVs.
They're
that you'll be able to see.
They're selling RVs on site. You could come to King of the Hammers without a vehicle. You could Uber out there, buy a Ford truck, buy a trailer, and go home.
Or buy a Can-Am.
And you probably could buy a race car too. It might be in pieces depending on who you're buying it from. But
Hey, enough money, you can buy anything.
I got a car. It's orange and blue. I'll sell it right now.
Now.
The cool thing about Forest River too is our staff gets to
Sorry,
stay
kid.
in Forest River trailers this year as well. So I think some of our staff's going to be pretty stoked to be in some brand new, nice, clean trailers.
Absolutely. Okay, I am down to talking about the EV class and talking about the trails. I think we have 11 up and 7 down for the entire race course, not counting the times that we run it multiple times. EV class first. For the first year ever, we are doing an EV class. I believe that the only entry thus far is Kyle Segelin, Boston Kyle. And ironically, he is racing Bailey's Toyota 4Runner that he originally started in. He put a Nissan Leaf motor in it, all batteries, took out all the combustion engine stuff, and he's racing a stock, and what was a stock Toyota 4Runner. Now he's racing in the EV class, so he is not going to be encumbered with all the stock stuff. But he's making a run. I saw it make noise. It doesn't really make noise, but I saw it make motion. That was cool.
So does it have a motor, one for the front, one for the back? Or
I believe-
one per wheel, or how's it working?
I believe that he figured out a way that he can bolt the Nissan Leaf motor directly to a W56 tranny.
Really?
It like just goes clink and bolts together.
Perfect.
So you take out the 22 RE, you put in a Nissan Leaf motor and Nissan battery packs. I'm giving away all Kyle's secret sauce, but lots of butt connectors, I think, and electrical tape maybe. But yeah, that's the EV class.
On Kyle's Great Engineering, PSA from JT, all new cars have to be tech appointments.
All new cars have to
Have to have tech appointments.
have tech appointments, yes.
Yes.
From Roxy. So if you have a new chassis coming to the race, you must make a tech appointment so we can tech your chassis. If you have an abandoned chassis, you just go through contingency tech and go racing. Okay. We will be using a new tracker this year. Unfortunately,
Let's back up to EV.
yes.
Haven't you assembled a board of directors for that class that's going to be guiding us through?
I've assembled a board of directors. I'm very fortunate to work with John Warniak, formerly of SEMA and longtime Detroit John.
Radar.
Radar, is that what you call him?
Well, Herb Fischel from Chevrolet gave him that name because he was like Radar on MASH. He was 2 steps ahead all the time. And actually, John was the one that handpicked me to race stadium trucks. Nobody else believed in me, but he did.
He's a really cool cat. I like talking to him. I like working with him, and his energy is past contagious.
Yes.
And He's put together a board of directors for the EV group that is, I can't release the names yet. We're going to do a full release on it, but when you start throwing around things like Dallara and NASA, then we have horsepower in the room.
Yeah.
So we're going to figure out how to do EV racing and how to make it competitive, how to get the technology down to the builders. That's my mission is to get EV technology into our builders' hands so they can start building cars.
Yep.
It's great that there's a lot of engineering out there. It's great that there's people out there at the OEMs that are trying to make technology better. But for us to figure out how to get cars to the desert, you're going to have to start putting them in the people's hands that have figured out how to do it in the first place.
Well, and it's going to be awesome to see which way they go. As I said, are they going to go traditional with transmission and axles and stuff like that? Are they going to go one motor in the front, one motor in the back, one motor per wheel?
We have four motors.
That's what I'm saying. What someone can do, but with that mass out there, is it better to have a center motor with, that's what I'm saying. It opens up the technology to a whole nother level.
Yep. I'm excited.
Yeah.
What about this? What if you ran a gas motor? This is not going to be EV class. EV is all EV.
Right.
What if you ran a gas motor that drove the rear, and the front end was electric?
Yeah.
And the electric only spooled up when it could outpull the rear in the desert. And then it's programmed, and the way it's set up, as soon as you get contention that the ground speed is more than the wheel speed, it automatically breaks loose. There's no torque. It's an electric motor.
Right.
So it's just, you'll never get the contention that we have in four-wheel drive cars, but you have the pull whenever you want it. I think that would be cool. And then the gas motor would be charging the batteries all the time, so you wouldn't have...
I need to call Neil Mason. That's going to be his new version of a desert truck.
Yeah, you never know.
Never know.
Okay. I'm down to... So this is new for us. I used to leak stuff and talk about stuff. I'm going to give out the trails that we race and the directions we're going to do it, not in any order. This is considering 3 laps for King of the Hammer, so I'm not going to... I will say what's third lap, so people don't go kill themselves in the EMC. So, is there any questions before we do this? I think people just want to get this and get on with it.
They want to get on and move on with
Here we go.
with the night.
We're going up outer limits. We're going up the fork, which is the turnoff from outer limits. We're going up back door, but that is 4,400 only. That's not true. It's EMC as well, right? No, it's not. I don't remember. I got to think about that. We're going up Wrecking Ball. We're going up Sledgehammer in 4,400 class. We're going up Jackhammer in all classes. We're going up Hell to Pay in the third lap of 4,400. We're going up Idle Issues. We're going up Bender Alley, all classes. We're going up Hell's Gate. We're going the up route through Cougar Buttes. We're going down Spooners, all classes. We're going down Clawhammer. We're going down Nightmare, which is a fairly unknown trail that parallels Clawhammer, and that's lap 3 only. We're going down Chocolate Thunder. We're going down Her Problems. We're going down Jack North, and this is where we need to find the red buggy with the Trepadors. We're going down a new trail that literally was just run 2 days ago, and the main reason, so we have full disclosure, the reason why I'm giving all these trails right now is the only way that I could get that trail run is to spot Bailey down it. So for the first time ever, Bailey actually knows a trail before everybody else does. And that is the reason why I just gave everybody the trail names now. Because the only thing he knew until right now was that we went down a trail that we called King's Graveyard. I want to talk about this one for a second. This is lap 3 only, 4,400 only. It drops off Fissure Mountain all the way from the top, all the way to the bottom. It's longer than Outer Limits and steeper than Sledgehammer. It is technically the coolest trail I've ever been on at the Hammers. By far the hardest rock trail we've ever raced in Ultra 4 racing, period. Harder than going up Sledgehammer, harder than anything we've ever done by a long way. And it'll be the second to last trail on the course. And the really crazy thing, and this goes for, actually it only goes for 4,400. The really get it on thing for this year's stuff, we talked about this earlier. with the exception of 2 trails, you have to run all of those trails on lap 3 without any opportunity to go to the pits. So there is no pit 2A anymore. There's only a pit 2. And once you pass pit 2, you have to do everything and get back to the main pit on the 3rd lap without any opportunity to pit, which is roughly 47 miles without fuel, but more importantly, all of the hammer trails and plus a bunch of optional ones. And you still have to make it all the way back to the desert and back home with no opportunity to pit. King's Graveyard, the name is very appropriate. I believe that it's very likely someone's going to go into King's Graveyard with an hour lead at King of the Hammers and not come out. It's that hard. It is super cool.
So pick a number. How many cars do you think will finish?
20.
And
20 and 4,400. All the other classes, the course is hard. Very, like the UTV race is way harder than it's ever been technically. Everything's harder, but the 4,400 is nut punch harder.
Now, do you think anybody will finish in daylight?
I think this might be the first time we've ever realistically had a chance that the winner finishes at dusk or later.
Okay.
It's shorter. It's only 190 miles. It's shorter than it has been, but it's all of the rock trails, and a lot of them are up. And it's legit. It's really cool.
So
The thing I thought about King's Graveyard, I honestly believe there's a very real chance that not everybody that takes the start line at 4,400 could even drive down King's Graveyard at all. And I thought about that, and I've thought about, so we're going to put a lot of safety out there. We're going to light the trail, because I'm worried that people are going to try to drive down at 9:30 at night trying to finish.
Right.
They're chewed gum, and now they're in an incredibly technical place that there's lots of elevation changes. The spotter's getting out of the car. The co-driver's getting out of the car. I was worried about all that stuff, so we're lighting up those obstacles. We're going to light them up for both for production and for safety. We'll have safety guys out there.
How are we going to do that?
I forget the name of the company, but a company called me up and said, I got lights, and I said, cool, we need them.
And we're also
probably should
working with
remember
Ford
stuff
and
like that.
Rigid on that, I think, right?
Ford is helping us with lights out. Ford and Rigid are helping us with lights for the shootout and for other general stuff, but that's going to be in the new F-150s, and you're not driving an F-150 to where this isn't Kansas. It's gnarly. But it's hard enough, and I thought to myself, if you can't drive down it, you shouldn't be able to call yourself King of the Hammers anyway. And it's that hard. It's going to be cool. I'm really looking forward to it.
And you and I talked about this before. Even chances are most people won't even try to pre-run it.
No, I would.
You would or you would not?
I would, because if you don't pre-run it at all and go there and drive it cold at 7 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night, and you didn't go pre-run it because you just didn't think you'd get there.
Right.
There's nothing about walking to that trail that you go, oh, I see the line.
Right.
I mean, we started walking the trail 3 weeks ago. This actually walked up and down that mountain 3 times so far.
Nice.
That's how committed I was to getting the trail done. We had a lot of help cutting the course, cutting the trail, but this goes back to the dude with the red truck. I got to so we have a very, very clear rule at the Hammers. You run the trail, you name the trail.
Right.
Right? So technically we didn't run it up yet. We only ran it down. When we started walking it, no one had ever driven it. It was abundantly evident, no chance whatsoever. But we started walking it 3 weeks ago, and within the last 3 weeks, someone in a red buggy with trepidors, and I'm talking, it's like there's one track in the sand.
Right.
Can't tell if he made it all the way through, he or she made it all the way through, but we made it down. If somebody else tells me I'm the guy, I ran that trail, you get to name it. Tell me what it is. It's yours, because you earned it, every bit of it. We're running with King's Graveyard right now, and as soon as we find out something different, that's what we'll run with. But somebody earned to call that trail that. It's cool.
Awesome. All right.
That's all I got. I mean, I've literally gone through everything. I'm sure Alan's going to tell me I've missed a paper. I forgot an entire class of racers.
Dave, let's swing back through just to touch on the COVID expectations, because I know that's hot and heavy on everybody's mind. I know we want to try to finish on a positive note, and we will. And I mean, we don't have to call this negative. It's
No,
the
it's a
reality. It's a
we-
positive thing. We're putting on a bitchin' race.
The last big event in the United States was King of the Hammers, and the next one's going to be King of the Hammers.
Right.
So I mean, it's not. None of this is easy, and none of it's a joke, and we all have to do our part. But what are the questions? What do you got?
Well, I think the big one's just to go back to you can test at home on your own. You can request and pay for a test that we'll mail to you, or you can get tested at the gate. And the test is only required to get into Hammertown. If you want to come and watch the race and go to the spectator areas, the test is not required.
Correct. And the last option for COVID protocol is having paperwork that shows I've been vaccinated or I've already had it and I'm symptom free for 14 days.
Right.
So if you show any of those things at all, or you can, like Ryan said, you can choose not to be tested. You just can't come in Hammertown, unfortunately. We'll have you back in another year.
Pit mileage.
I don't have exacts. I can guess it. We didn't put race miles onto the race course yet. I just literally handed the race course into BLM today. We just finalized it. I had to figure out if we could run King's Graveyard. The longest stretch by a long shot is that 47 miles on lap 3 for 4,400 cars, but that's 4,400 only. The longest get besides that is the desert loop, as always. Leaving pit 1 back to pit 1 is your longest get. But nothing outlandish. Everybody's within fuel windows. I think the desert guys are going to have to start. They'll have to start figuring out what's advantageous. Do I pit it at pit 1? Do I fuel at pit 1? Do I fuel at main pit? That kind of stuff is all going to based upon what their car can do. I think everyone's going to have to fuel. I don't think anyone can run. No one runs 300 miles on fuel, do they?
No.
Yeah. So everyone's going to have to fuel.
Well,
Except for Kyle. Kyle has to fuel too because Kyle's got to change batteries.
He's got to change all the batteries?
He can only go like 41 miles on a charge.
not seeing any more questions. I think it's worthy of making comment today. Today's been a crazy day in our country, and I think what the for me, and I think for us, it's been a crazy year for us. But we've put our head down, and we've worked as a team, and we've created events throughout the year that have been safe and fun for everybody. And we're going to do that in 3 weeks. Our country is not falling apart. The people that make this country up are good people, and I just think it's the right way to end this show is end on a positive note. We are a tribe of people that love to get outside and play in the desert, and we're doing that in 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
We're going in 48
2
hours.
days.
Yeah. Anybody that's like, "Are you sure it's happening?" Well, yeah, I'm moving there in 2 days. It's happening. This race is happening. So anybody that's been procrastinating, going, "I don't need to pull that motor because I'm not racing," guess what? You're racing on last year's motor.
It's on. Awesome.
So, nothing else? That was easy. Hour and a half.
Perfect deal. Let everyone get back to their deal, and then they can go back to watching the news. All the craziness is what's happening in our country, and as Ryan says, it's going to be awesome to get back to a sense of normality. And for the racers, put their helmet on and get inside that world and go get some rock time.
Please.
And for spectators to get out and see their friends and get out in their wheelers, because that's one thing that's positive about this. More people have been working on their cars, riding motorcycles, and getting
There was
outside.
10,000 people at the Hammers over the years.
No, that's what I'm saying is that this people are going, well, I'm going to do something. I'm going to get out. So awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. I'm looking forward to doing the show. Any surprises for Sunday yet? I mean, for Saturday night?
Saturday night after the race?
Well, last year you had Sublime. That was kind of a little bit of a...
There's no music.
No music.
There's no music. Let's put it out right now. We are... I don't need to create more situations where we have more people.
Right.
So there's no music. Not this year. It'll be back. We have horsepower. We have horsepower to dance to this year.
All right. All right, everybody. So that wraps up for 2021 King of the Hammers pre-race show. Once again, I'm Ricky Johnson, Ryan Thomas with Dave Cole. Thank you guys for having me. I didn't say much. I was just kind of here hanging out, but really looking.
You said a lot, man.
Shut up, Ryan. Anyhow, I'm looking forward to it. As I said, last year was an unbelievable race all across the board, and this year I think everyone's going to be really excited to get out there and go bang some rocks again. The guys from the East Coast are getting out of the snow, coming out west, and it's going to be a lot of great new technology and great competition. So let's go racing.
Cheers. See you in Lake Bed.